Well, that was the final episode of season 1 or season 14, whatever it is, of Doctor Who, and I have to say, I'm quite disappointed. So here's my spoiler heavy review of The Empire of Death. And spoilers will be throughout this whole thing. My biggest issue with it was that it had such a high concept idea, like it was too big too fast. It also made me feel like Legend of Ruby Someday should have ended like 5 minutes later. I think would have really been a great impact. Would have been everyone in the unit dying, and then we would have the. But I think what they did here, it didn't really work. And while the scene with Kate dying was quite emotional, it was a bit disappointed then when you realised that everyone else on the planet was also dying, so you realised that nothing really mattered and everyone was going to come back in the end anyway. They sort of took Sutekh as this big, giant thing, a little, I don't know, he didn't really do much. Once he killed everyone, that was it. He was done. He was just sat in a room for the entire time. And it kind of just made it a bit boring. He wasn't threatening anymore because he'd already done it. What else was he going to do? And I also found the design of Sutekh quite disappointing. I think it would have been way better if they just had someone, like an actual person in a costume with a mask on, like have the mask on or have something like that. And I think the big CGI dog just didn't do it for me. I think it was just, it didn't have that factor of presence. It felt like, oh, that was just a CGI dog in the room. That's cool, whatever. If you think back at The Impossible Planet, that was a way better Sutekh storyline.
I have so many names. If you look at me, you will die.
Where it felt more like Sutekh from Pyramid of Mars rather than what we have at the moment. Because this just seems like big Disney money being like, look, we can turn all these planets to dust, but none of them really matter because they're all going to come back at the end anyway. I will say that I was quite okay with the reveal of Ruby. I know I went really down different rabbit holes of storylines of different theories on who Ruby's mum and dad are, and the fact that they turn out to be people, yeah, that's fine, that makes sense. Not every companion needs to be incredibly special, and I think it worked. Though the reveal that Ruby's name was named after the street was weird because I thought that was what we all considered anyway. Like, I don't know, that just seemed like an odd addition. As the actual episode, yeah, it was just a bit bland. I think it had no substance. It wasn't really saying anything. It seemed like it had like 5 minutes of plot stretched over 40 minutes. I saw it in a cinema. I didn't even pay to see it. I was lucky. And I felt almost ripped off by going to it. But the performances were great. The visuals were okay. I don't think the Remember TARDIS worked as well in a proper episode. I think it kind of had a little clunky feel to it, but it did make sense, I guess. I think I would have rathered they had some sort of nonsense machine instead of a big magic rope, which just didn't work for me. I'm gonna give this 4 grains of sand out of 11. That's a Dylan rating right there. But that's just what I think, so please leave a comment in below of this video. Let me know what you think. Was I way off base? Was I way correct? What do you think about the thing? I'm gonna go sleep now and maybe my opinion will change in the morning. Who knows? Haha!